What's up, family? This is your man, not your boy, Go Black to Africa. I got a very interesting topic tonight, and showing y'all some video and some history a little bit that y'all gonna be interested in. And I believe that this is going to open our eyes up even more clear. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning to everybody that is on this chat right now. As people start to come in, I want to share some information with y'all because I this touched me, y'all. This video took. I love my sisters. I love my sisters. If each one of our sisters could share the pain of what we went through instead of us brothers, I don't think we can say it better than our sisters, being that the feminine energy that y'all have can be the voice of a people. We've been trying to do that for the longest. But I want to get into this and share with you all because, I've been screaming about this America's disadvantages and how, we can go and search for new land and get out the heck out of how things are. And we sit complacent on the sidelines and do nothing. I saw this video yesterday, and I'm telling y'all, this is your man, not your boy. But it brought tears to my eyes. I felt it. She expressed the pain that I've been trying to describe to you all, what I've gone through and what we've gone through in America all this time. And it regurgitated this pain of memory that what I had to go through. And I'm going to share a little bit about my story. I got a couple videos I want to show y'all. I'm going to show y'all some stuff that a lot of y'all don't even know what happened just here in the last 30, 40 years. Are y'all ready for it? Peace and blessings to each of y'all. Shalom, shalom to all the family out there. I'm thankful to have you all coming in, watching. Please, I'm going to tell y'all this right here. We got to do a better job of sharing the videos. I'm at almost 900 videos and something, and only 5 videos have been shared. This is the complacency our people are at. We don't even want to share information to wake our people up. How are people going to know this information if you don't share with somebody? Share with one person, even if you don't think that they care. Share with one person. When you hit the share button, I don't care nothing about no likes and subscribes. Hit the share, send an email, send it WhatsApp, send it text or whatever. But can we start sharing information? I get a notification every time somebody shares. And it's only been 5 times in the last 2 years. And that was 5 videos. That was it. This tonight is going to be a good one, y'all. This is a good one right here I have for you all. Let's get into this first video right here. And I'm going to talk about it. And then I'm going to go down memory lane real quick. And then we're going to get into opening the floor up with you all calling in. But my thing is, family, take off your judgment hat. Take off what you think. And just bend your ear and just be open to listen. Because a lot of y'all are young folks. And a lot of y'all young folks ain't walked through much yet as far as the history, like myself, 55 years. And when I hear the stories from those who's 20 years older than me, I'm like flabbergasted. When I heard the story from my uncle 2 years ago before he passed away last year, or year before last, he was 105 years old. And he told me the stories that was happening to us folks back in the early 30s, 20s. Peace and blessing to each and every one of y'all. Let's watch this quick video. Some of y'all might have seen it. Open your minds up and just listen. I can't say that enough. Listen. Don't write no chats. Don't be trying to have no conversation. We so distracted. Our attention span is so small that we get caught up in the little things and cannot just pause for a moment and pay attention to something. I know I sound like a school teacher right now, but this is what I'm saying. This is why people can't even get connected spiritually. This is why people can't even walk forward and be able to move themselves out of situations in their life because they're stuck. I'm just saying, let's get to it. Let me share my screen real quick. Okay, let's get into this right here.
Monopoly with you. And for 400.
Hold 1 second.
Then people want to talk about, well, there's plenty of people who pulled themselves up out of their bootstraps and got it on their own. Why can't they do that? Let me explain to you something about economics in America. We came to do the agricultural work in the South and the textile work in the North. If I right now decided that I wanted to play Monopoly with you, and for 400 rounds of playing Monopoly, I didn't allow you to have any money, I didn't allow you to have anything on the board, I didn't allow for you to have anything. And then we played another 50 rounds of Monopoly, and everything that you gained and you earned while you were playing that round of Monopoly was taken from you. That was Tulsa. That was Rosewood. Those are places where we built Black economic wealth, where we were self-sufficient, where we owned our stores, where we owned our property. And they burned them to the ground. So that's 450 years. So for 400 rounds of Monopoly, you don't get to play at all. Not only do you not get to play, you have to play on the behalf of the person that you're playing against. You have to play and make money and earn wealth for them, and then you have to turn it over to them. So then for 50 years, you finally get a little bit and you're allowed to play. And every time that they don't like the way that you're playing, or that you're catching up, or that you're doing something to be self-sufficient, they burn your game. They burn your cards. They burn your Monopoly money. And then, finally, at the release and the onset of that, they allow you to play, and they say, okay, now you catch up. Now, at this point, the only way you're going to catch up in the game is if the person shares the wealth, correct? But what if every time you share the wealth, then there's psychological warfare against you to say, oh, for equal opportunity higher. So if I played 400 rounds of Monopoly with you, and I had to play and give you every dime that I made, and then for 50 years, every time that I played, and you didn't like what I did, you got to burn it like they did in Tulsa and like they did in Rosewood. How can you win? How can you win? You can't win. The game is fixed. So when they say, why do you burn down the community? Why do you burn down your own neighborhood? It's not ours. We don't own anything. We don't own anything. You broke the contract when you killed us in the streets and didn't give up. You broke the contract for 400 years. We played your game and built your wealth. You broke the contract when we built our wealth again on our own, on our bootstraps in Tulsa, and you dropped bombs on us. When we built it in Rosewood, and you came in and you slaughtered us. You broke the contract, so you're a target. You're a Hall of Fame. And they are lucky that what Black people are looking for is equality and not revenge.
Wow. You know, was that powerful, family? That sister there put her spirit into that speech. I get teary-eyed. This is your man still, not your boy. That moves me. Because that is exactly what we've done for America. 450 years of free labor while they built their wealth. 450 years when we try to get ahead. And they got these loopholes and these laws that prohibit us from advancing the red line in the neighborhoods you're trying to live in. When you're trying to get bank loans, they hinder you and tell you, no, you can't. Our farmers out here who's needing loans so that they can stay at least abreast to the other white farmers, because you take losses when the weather comes in and your yield does not do well. When your equipment falls apart and then you need money, they go and they turn around and they give the loans out to the white farmers. But the Black farmers, who's led by one of our brothers who've been trying to get money for the Black farmers because they weren't getting the loans, they sued and they wound up getting a few $1 billion. But guess what? The white farmers turned around and sued the system, which held up the money that they were awarded in the system, while these doggone lawyers are going to take all the money from the lawsuits that they put, all the while the farmers still are losing left and right off of the yield, and their equipments are failing. We won't talk about the land that they took. The land that they took from our ancestors. My uncle, who just passed away 2 years ago, 105 years old, this is what he told me. I went to go see him. Hold on a second. Let me find his picture. I went to go see my uncle. He told me this right here. He had bought some land. He bought, I can't remember, 10 acres of land or something. He started doing his agriculture on it. And one day he realized when he had to go pay his bill, and he went down there to go pay his bill that he faithfully did for a couple of years. That when he inquired, he went in there and inquired to see how much money he owed on the land since he was paying for a few years. He owed the same amount of money. The interest that they had on him, he would never pay off that god doggone land. But what did he do? He got the hell out of North Carolina. He had a family member who had a business up in New York, a lawn care business. And he went up to the lawn care business, and he did that for a while. Then he went working for this factory making buttons or something, or screws or something like that. But he said he had to get out. That it wore him down, that he could not advance, get anywhere. Let me show y'all something right here. Because she's talking about the wealth. I want to show y'all a picture, but let me stay on course. She talked about some things. You can't win. Now, I know y'all got y'all jobs. You got your $80,000, $100,000, $200,000 jobs. But what is your predecessor or your co-worker who's European got? Number one, they found in truth, they know they're honest, that they've admitted that white counterparts make more than the black people. You can be doing the same job, even a manager, and find out that your people that you're supervising make more than you. You might be a manager, that the people that you're managing might make more than you. This has come out. My dad found that out the hard way. And all we do is continue to try to work and try to do right and all this right here. And we look at our house, our cars, and we think we accomplished something. Let me tell y'all something right here. Let me tell y'all something. Let me show y'all this right here. Because while we sit around thinking we accomplished something, we arrived, America's the big dream, and you got your house and you got your car, you don't own nothing. This is what the sister said. Even those in the hoods, they don't own nothing. Do you want to know why we burn it down, she said? Because we don't own anything. They don't own the houses they live in. They don't own, even if they have a business, they don't own the plaza. They don't own the buildings, own nothing. Why? Because it's a system that's set up to keep you from advancing. I had to work 3 freaking jobs to get in the neighborhood with at least a foot closer to those who are so far ahead of them. Because while they got all the wealth, you thinking you accomplished something. Let me show y'all this right here. I'm going to show y'all, this is my second house I bought. The first one I had sold, I turned around and I saved every dime I could because I was trying to get a place that was the best education, because my mom was there too. The best education in the state of Tennessee. And in the richest county in Tennessee is Williamson County. I had worked for years saving money up because I knew I would retire one day in the military. That day was coming close to an end. I was 1 year out from retirement in 2003. I had saved up $170,000. I worked 3 freaking jobs. I worked myself to the bone. I'm doing the military, getting off work, got into a barbershop. I was cutting hair. Eventually was wound up, saved enough money to go ahead and get business, and then started making money, getting a couple chairs in there, having some barbers, and trying to expand. On the weekends, I did security at night From 7:30 in the morning to 4:30 in the afternoon, I was doing military. Got off from the military, juggling. Went straight to the barbershop, got at the barbershop at 5 o'clock, stayed in the barbershop till 9 o'clock, get home ass tired. Weekend comes, go to the barbershop, get at the barbershop at 8 in the morning, get in the barbershop at 8 in the morning, leave it out about 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. In the evening time, I was doing security work on Saturdays and Sundays. I did that for 12 freaking years. I saved $170,000 and I thought I was doing something. I wind up ending up in Tennessee before I retired. I was going through on the internet trying to find places where I would retire at. My ex-wife at the time was from Tennessee. Me, I figured, they're very close knit family they were and all that, not be too far from her family. So I found this area called Spring Hill, Tennessee. I'm about to show y'all my house that I bought, and I'm going to tell y'all what it is like. What this sister is talking about, the wealth of those who have it. They will always have it, and we won't have little to nothing. Turn around. I eventually wound up getting this house. This house cost $239,000. I had $170,000. I was planning on buying a house for cash, but this was an opportunity for my kids. This was an opportunity too for my kids to get it was the best school district in Tennessee, the richest county in Tennessee. And all I had was $170,000. Now, it sounds like you said, all you had, I wish I had $170,000. It was a lot to me. I'm talking about when I said all you had is the fact that I didn't have enough to be able to get into this neighborhood. Because this Spring Hill that was just starting off, and they had other houses I could have went and bought, but these other houses were older houses, and I could have bought a house cash. But I wind up saying no. I went and did my math. I saw that my mortgage was $832. I did a 15-year mortgage because I was putting $170,000 down on a $239,000 home. I had $60,000 more to pay off that house. Could have paid it off 3 years later. But my ex-wife at the time, not to throw dirt on her, but she had a problem. This is why it's important when I tell people, black man and black woman, you got to stop fighting with each other and become a team and build. If you don't have a vision of trying to build and one wants to be out here trying to spend up and one's trying to save, it's just not going to work. I sacrificed for 12 long years. And I finally was able to get in this area for my kids, so they can at least be one step closer to their white counterparts in a public school education. Let's go to my house I bought, because she said we don't own anything. But I'm gonna share with y'all what I found out when I was in this white neighborhood. How was white people, young ones, able to afford their houses? Because I worked 3 freaking jobs. Y'all ain't gonna believe this. See, y'all playing around thinking America's, you got to fight for my ancestor and all this crap. And yet you don't even realize the disadvantages that you are and the system that is in place that's keeping us from advancing. This is my house right here that I used to have. Let's look at this house right here. I bought this house, y'all, for $239,000. Now, before we get to that, let me show y'all right here. This house was built in 2003. That's when I bought the house. It was on a half-acre lot. Let's look at this house. I bought this house for, I said 239, excuse me, $249,800 in 2003. I bought this house. Do y'all see how much this house is worth now? This home value's estimate is $725,000. You see this? It's an estimate. It's just an estimate, but it's close typically. This house that I bought in 2003 is worth $725,000. If the same black man that was doing like I am, who was trying to get this house, if you see this house would cost $3,769 a month. Now let's go into see this house right here, because this is the house I bought. This was my house. So y'all can see which one I'm talking about. This house right here that you see, this is the house that I bought. Okay. This was almost a 3,000 square foot home. This right here, 4-bedroom, 4-bath, all brick, half an acre lot. And I'm going to show y'all the neighborhoods. There was only 2 black people who lived in this neighborhood. I'm going somewhere with this. Y'all stay with me. All of this was my neighbors, white folks, in these houses. In this neighborhood, only 2 black people. Now check this out. Go down the street right here. I can tell you this right here. This neighbor right here, their parents paid down the deposit for them to be able to move into this house. 20% down on a house. Let me go down the street right here. My neighbor Brian, white guy, right next door to me, his parents put down $100,000 on his house for him to move in. Let me go down the street right here. This was a couple. They were no more than 28 to 30 years old. Young couple. This house right here. Their folks gave them the deposit down on their house, not the deposit, the down payment on their house. I said deposit. The down payment on their house to get into their house. Let me go right here. This house, like I said, 4-bedroom, 4-bath, 2,900, almost 2,900 square feet. I bought it for $260 or $249,000. Now let me share this with you all right here. Let me share this with y'all. I worked 3 freaking jobs, and these white people around me, this wealth that they gained from years and years and years, and that's what we don't understand, the wealth that's passed down from family to family. That here I am as a black man, only 2 of us live in that whole neighborhood, had to work 3 freaking jobs. And when I'm listening to these people talk, you know, because I was in that community, I coached a lot of their kids. I was a city league football coach for 13 and 14-year-olds. I coached at the high school basketball for varsity. I was an assistant coach there. So many people knew me. And I had my barbershop there in the city that many of the white folks came. But when I kept hearing them talk, and I grind my god-daggone teeth, yeah, my folks gave me, and my mom and dad gave us. And I'm like, what do we got? My mom and daddy didn't give me nothing because their mom and daddy didn't have nothing, and their mom and daddy didn't have nothing, and their mom and daddy had nothing. They only had enough to survive. And anytime they try to make advancements, guess what? It will be taken. Well, Go Black, how would they take, whatever this is? Just like she said, anytime you had these so-called programs that came in, equal opportunity programs and stuff, and then white people complain about the advancements of black people, they do away with the programs, and guess what? Black folks lose their jobs. But this is the generational wealth off of 400 years of slavery. And then let me show y'all something right here, because we're going to get into it. Look at this right. This is the Black Massacre. If you don't understand what was going on here in these cities, They got the dates and all that. I don't know if you can see it clear or not, but this is not a good Photoshop. You just got to do your own homework. Go on Google and just say Black Massacres, and you're gonna see the Black people who were massacred, towns that were burnt down, people who were hung, people who were killed because of the jealousy of white people when they started to see us advance, not only monetarily, but even politically. Do you not know we had Black people that were politicians and sheriffs and all that right there? I'm about to go ahead and show y'all another video here in a second. But here it is, that these white people that are telling me that, oh, my mom and dad put down $100,000 for our house, And guess what? This is what I found out. Majority of them, their wives don't work. The man goes and work. But we as Black people think we're making advancement when two of us is working, and we thinking we equal as them. So yeah, I made it right here in the neighborhood. I'm in here up class. See, we made it. Oh, it's fair in America. America's not prejudiced and biased, and your Black asses, you got you and your wife up here kicking your ass to go ahead and try to at least bring in two incomes when these jokers only got one person working, and the wife get to be home with the kids, don't have to pay for daycare, and doing what they got to do. Because mama and daddy gave them 100,000, 50,000. During Christmas times, they would sit here. White people tell their business because they like to size each other up. Especially in the barbershop, they come in sometimes. We have conversations or whatever. Oh yeah, my family sent us $15,000 for Christmas. Oh, my family has sent $20,000 for Christmas. Measly, yeah, they sent us only 10,000 this year. They said times were hard. And yet we appear thinking that we're making advancements because we're looking over there and we're like, we live in the same neighborhoods, but you idiot, you don't even freaking know that their parents are passing wealth onto them. And while you got the 30-year mortgage and you will never pay off your house, they can pay theirs off. I got so sick and tired. Hey, Go Black. They didn't call me Go Black. I'm just saying Go Black. They would invite me. Oh, we got a beach house. You want to come to the beach house? Never wanted to go to. Not all of them invite me, but there was a couple that would sit there and, oh, we got a beach house out there. Do you want to go to our beach house? But I knew it was all for show. I knew they weren't serious because they just want to say it. Oh, we're going out to summer to our cabin up in Michigan. We're going out down to our timeshares and our beach homes and stuff down here. And I'm thinking like, God dang, go on. What the freak? Man. And I'm like behind my barber chair, cutting, like, what? I'm in a shop every day working, trying to build and get somewhere. I said, I got to do something different. The barbershop made me some money. It made me some good money. But, my thing was, how can I get to a place where my money can work for me? I wasn't trying to compete with them, but I was wanting to be able to relieve a lot of the stress and the hard work that we do. What are y'all doing that I don't know? What they're doing is they're passing wealth down to their families. Now, I know there are more white and poor people in America than there is Black folks because they outnumber, supposedly according to the stats, then they outnumber us. But we got to understand the situation, the position that we're in. How can you advance when the tables are not fair? She talked about Rosewood. She talked about, Black Wall Street. Let's check this out again. She talked about Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma. That happened in 1921. She talked about Rosewood. That happened in 1923. That they bombed the neighborhoods. Guess what? They bombed the neighborhood in 1985. Oh, for real? See, some of y'all young people don't know. When we see movements of Black people, they always tear us down. Whether it was a civil rights movement, whether it was the Black Panther Party, whether it was Marcus Garvey and all that right there, even if it was even Nation of Islam. Whether it was even just recently, the in fact, not effing around coalition, where groups of black people was marching and demonstrating and going to show up at cities that were slaughtering black men. The leader turns around at each city to find out, number one, the laws of carrying a weapon, two, the right to assemble, to go to the city to get a permit so that they can have it, and talk to the officials to inform them what they were going to do. He thought he was doing everything right. But one thing he failed to realize is he in freaking America, and they will try to find something to take you under. Marcus Garvey, FBI agents got involved, diminished and demolished his saying that he had tax evasions, threw him into prison. They killed off Martin Luther King. They killed off Malcolm X. They dismantled the Black Panther Party. In fact, the not effing around coalition, it goes on and on and on. But check this out. Let's go here. She talked about bombing Rosewood and Black Wall Street. But did you know about this? You see, because we can sit here and talk about the 1921s, which was devastating to our people, but how do they treat us here?
It is something of a forgotten story, 30 years before Black Lives Matter. Story of police violence in the US, confrontation, repression, destruction that got severely out of hand. It culminated on the 13th of May 1985 in Philadelphia when the police dropped explosives from a helicopter at a house in the middle of the city. Those inside were activists in a revolutionary movement called MOVE, which took root in the early 1970s. MOVE, founded by a certain Vincent Leopard, who changed his name to John Africa, the group's followers doing the same, all having the surname Africa. They were, and still are, mostly African Americans at the time, all living under one roof. Now, relations with their neighbours had been very strained, to the point where the police moved in to evict them. An armed standoff and firefight ensued, including the dropping of the explosives onto the house. 11 people inside, including children, killed. The resulting fire destroying more than 60 other surrounding homes. Well, since then, the story has disappeared into the history books. None of those responsible at the time brought to justice. So, more than 30 years later, correspondents have found new witnesses and spoken to those caught up in what happened.
So, did you know about that? The MOVE in Philadelphia in 1985. They dropped a bomb right in the neighborhood of Philadelphia. See, some of y'all too young to remember that. I remember that. I was 19 years old in 1985. Dropping a bomb, and it destroyed 61 homes of black people, and nobody was responsible, they said. And here it is that we sit here and we proudly scream we're American, argue, fuss, and fight over this America's great and all these things right here. But here it is, time and time again, why we aren't making moves, because we're so blinded and we don't see. A lot of us is delusional because we bought into a lie. America's great, the great apple pie, the pie in the sky, America's dream, all these things that we think that we are overcoming. But you ain't looking at your counterpart, how far advanced that they've made it back off the backs of our ancestors. It's a shame that we don't know history too. All right, I'm back. That now that I'm showing you all information, now all of a sudden they want to shut it. I'm having problems with the internet. But we have to open our eyes up, family, to realize this. I'm gonna play the video again of the woman because it needs sometimes to sing in people. And I know we got new people who came in. So let's listen to what she says again, and then I'm gonna move on to the next video after we show the video of her. We see here. Share my screen again. I don't think y'all were able to see the cities. I'm not sure. But do yourself a favor and look at these black massacres that's happened around America. And you'll see it's all the way from the 1866 on up to 1985 that I shown in Philadelphia, the bomb that they dropped. Now, why is it that the 1860s to about the 1820s, the 1860s to the 1920s was more, there were more incidents? Is because of after slavery, blacks began to find their places and get their land, and they started to make advancements in these cities. And there was jealousies by these prejudiced, racist people who wanted to keep them from advancing. And so there was these riots or these mobs that came in to kill and destroy these neighborhoods and these places and these cities because we were making advancements. We had our own cities, we had our own professions, we were catering to one another, and then all of a sudden they decide that they want to go ahead and destroy our communities. This is what happened. So let's go to the sister again. I'm going to play this video again because I want to make sure those who came in to feel the heart of what the sister is saying of the disadvantage that's in America and why we are so far behind white folks and other nationalities who come in and can make advancements, because you all are too silly to see that the system is against us and it will keep majority of us down. And a lot of us who's made it to middle class don't even realize that you're still far behind because your predecessor, the white folks who has houses, some of them don't even have mortgages because their families passed down the wealth. Let's listen to the sister.
Then people want to talk about, well, there's plenty of people who pulled themselves up by their bootstraps and got it on their own. Why can't they do that? Let me explain to you something about economics in America. We came to do the agricultural work in the South and the textile work in the North. If I right now decided that I wanted to play Monopoly with you, and for 400 rounds of playing Monopoly, I didn't allow you to have any money, I didn't allow you to have anything on the board, I didn't allow for you to have anything. And then we played another 50 rounds of Monopoly, and everything that you gained and you earned while you were playing that round of Monopoly was taken from you. That was Tulsa. That was Rosewood. Those are places where we built black economic wealth, where we were self-sufficient, where we owned our stores, where we owned our property, and they burned them to the ground. So that's 450 years. So for 400 rounds of Monopoly, you don't get to play at all. Not only do you not get to play, you have to play on the behalf of the person that you're playing against. You have to play and make money and earn wealth for them, and then you have to turn it over to them. So then for 50 years, you finally get a little bit and you're allowed to play. And every time that they don't like the way that you're playing, or that you're catching up, or that you're doing something to be self-sufficient, they burn your game. They burn your cards. They burn your Monopoly money. And then finally at the release and the onset of that, they allow you to play and they say, okay, now you catch up. Now at this point, the only way you're going to catch up in the game is if the person shares the wealth, correct? But what if every time you share the wealth, then there's psychological war for anywhere against you to say, oh, bring equal opportunity higher. So if I play 400 rounds of Monopoly with you and I had to play and give you every dollar that I made, and then for 50 years, every time that I played, if you didn't like what I did, you got to burn it like they did in Tulsa and like they did in Rosewood. How can you win? How can you win? You can't win. The game is fixed. So when they say, why do you burn down the community? Why do you burn down your own neighborhood? It's not ours. We don't own anything. We don't own anything. You broke the contract when you killed us in the streets and didn't give up. You broke the contract when for 400 years we played your game and built your wealth. You broke the contract when we built our wealth again on our bootstraps in Tulsa and you dropped bombs on us. When we built it in Rosewood and you came in and you slaughtered us. You broke the contract, so target. We are Hall of Fame. And they are lucky that what Black people are looking for is equality and not revenge.
That's real. That's real. You know, we listen to a lot of ignorant people who's got the same skin color of us, and they think they are better than most people. And they think that America's the greatest thing since soda pop. And won't even give credit to the ancestors who made it great. You had slavery in the South, part of the North. As she said, agriculture was down in the South. Many blacks were trying to get, after slavery was going up north. And what did a lot of these companies and businesses do? Put them in the factories. And while we thought we were making good money, we still didn't get nowhere. Did your family pass on wealth to you from your granddaddy working in the factories? Your grandmamas or grandmothers maybe worked in the factories? Oh yeah, you bought your Cadillac and you had you a house and you thought you was getting paid something. What happened to the factories now today? They ain't even there. But then you have those people who make it seem as though that there's an even playing field, and they forget the 400 years of slavery, of free labor. Can you imagine we won't even see, most of us won't see 70. Can you imagine 400 years? That means that you, your children, your children's 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 children will be caught in a rat race, built in slavery, building a country and building wealth while people rise up and they can't. And because of the psychological warfare that goes on within, that many couldn't even deal with, that caused them mental disturbances, families broken up, people was on the search of land in America trying to find their husband or their wife or their children's. Couldn't find them, start all over again. Then when they try to build it in the late 1800s, the early 1900s, people, brothers and sisters start to advance, which then was the rise of the Ku Klux Klan, the Jim Crow laws. These are what were put in place to keep you back. Now, these things still exist. For those who don't know, I was a real estate agent in America. And to my surprise, I learned a lot of things about real estate because I had to go ahead and, what's up, Polite? How you doing? I had to learn some things about the laws of real estate. One thing I learned was redlining. I didn't know that it is illegal for real estate agents to shift people to certain areas to keep them in their own areas, or redline areas that the banks, would not give loans to, areas that maybe needed up sprucing and maintained, and people maybe not have a lot of money, but they won't give loans because they say it was too much of a risk to go ahead and give a loan to go into the hoods. See, I had to learn this. I didn't know until I was in real estate that in Black neighborhoods, when you go ahead and you try to sell your house, and then you pick your appraiser, that they are in cahoots to go ahead and give you low ball prices of your property. Did you know that? These are things that still goes on today, that your hard-earned money, when you sell your house, that you would at least want your fair amount for your house, what it is qualified for. But you have a lot of these devils that come in and give you a less price. When you talk to a realtor and you go in and you want a white realtor and you don't want a Black realtor, I had the hardest time getting black folks for me to be their realtor. They want a white one. But see, you don't know. Yeah, we're looking for a house, 4-bedroom, 3-bath. We want at least this and that and this and that. Okay, did you know they can, I didn't say in all of them, but they can selectively, those who are biased and prejudiced don't want you in these areas, especially these white areas where these elite areas, polite knows these areas, that sometimes that these realtors will go direct you to the places. This is what I found on the market for you. This is what I found right here. This is what, and they can go into these areas where they want to keep us at, and not take you to areas that possibly there's a house or whatever for you. That's why you got to do your own homework. You can't rely on a real estate agent. These are things that are in place today in the system. Black people will get higher interest rates on loans for cars and loans. I went off on a guy in Texas when I was taking my daughter around car shopping, and he gave my daughter a 14% interest. And a person, I think it was a Hispanic person, they looked like they was Hispanic, whatever, told me that I got a 5% interest rate. You did? Yeah. And I ripped into that guy. Then he tried to blame, well, she doesn't have credit established. She doesn't have this and that. Well, hold up. You can't tell me what your interest rate is, and yet somebody's untold me what they got. From a 5 to a 13% interest rate? Do you think I got stupid written across my head? All right, I'm back. I'm trying to finish this up. But these are the tricks that they play. This is the playing field is not fair. This is what she's saying. Because I can guarantee you, okay, honestly, everybody, for those who own houses, if you have a paid off house that you bought, put a 1. If you own a house and your house is not paid off, put a 2. Thank you for your honesty, Tony. Thank you, Asato. Thank you, Donna. Cool. See, we got some Africans in here. We got some Africans in here whose houses are already paid off because they got property here in Africa. A lot of them do, and their houses are. I forgot that too. I said if you in America. But this is my point. You don't own nothing. You don't own nothing. How is it that I've shared this right here that most people don't, they say the average bank account and people have savings is $1,000, which shows that America is built for those who don't have the education to stay in debt. We will buy houses with a mortgage. We will buy cars for a mortgage with a car loan. We will use credit cards to buy stuff, and we'll live in debt. And still, yes, and Frida, and still will pay taxes even if you had a paid off property. This is why I've bought my properties in Africa, because I ain't got to worry about that. But we fight and try, and we try to get ahead, and even if we make money, because we're thinking that I make the money, I want to be in these areas because I'm making the money and putting money in there, and the amount of money that we really put, that we can save and come to another country, not just Africa. So I was about to buy property there in Mexico, still thinking about it. You can buy you $80,000 house. Here in Africa, you better hurry up. You got to get some property because, the prices are going up in Accra. You still can get some land further out. I don't mess with the land. But what I'm saying, family, is let's get to this next one right here, because she talked about Rosewood, she talked about Black Wall Street, and I just showed you all the video of Philadelphia when they dropped the bomb in Philadelphia in 1985. And so I said, let me look up one other place on this on the picture there, and let's share that story. Because we think the playing field is even and equal. We think America is just grand and great. So here again, you can go on Google, you can go ahead and type in the Black Massacres of America, and you're going to find these different cities. You can look some of them up, read on what happened, what transpired, so that you can be a little educated in this country that you live in, what they've done to your families, and you wonder why you're poor, why it's hard for you to get ahead. How are these white people who are middle classes and upper class, how they got established? Like I told y'all, I learned from my neighbors and the people in the white community that I lived in. thought I was doing something, but shoot, I worked myself to the bone, still had to pay a mortgage on that house. And a lot of them parents gave them money down on down payments and $100,000, $50,000, $75,000. Something comfortable where they can go ahead and pay. And the women didn't work. The wives didn't work. The man went out and worked. So the mother was home with her own children. How many of us black folks can say that? We got to have two. Let's do this right here. So, just a small little history for you. But there again, I just showed y'all the video of the bombing that took place in Pennsylvania there in 1985. And we sit here today in damn Erica. Put the D in front of America, capitalize the E. Damn Erica. And act like she's so great and proud to be an American when you see that the playing field is not even fair. And like the sister says, that we as black people, you know, we're forgiving black people. But I'm telling y'all, eventually, these youth now today is going to seek revenge. And I believe that day is coming. Because this Constitution that they have in America needs to be torn down. Because as you begin to see the devastations that are happening within the black community, once you wake up and realize that you're fighting against the wrong people, you turn around and look at the others and say, they are the real enemies. This is why America better wake up, because if they don't, there will be a racial war. It's already creeping in. I'm seeing now more black youth attacking and carjacking and shooting white people than I've ever seen. Now, you know that this youth here ain't afraid. They don't care. And so I say, family, that Africa's waiting for you. Many of things that you can get yourself into, if not just plant a seed by visiting, looking around, searching the land for your children's children's children. Or do you want the same thing? I'm sending my kids to college and they go to these Ivy League schools. They got their degrees and, you know, they're just fine. No, they're still going to be working in a system that is totally against them. If you are going to be happy that your children's got mortgages and a car note and is under the illusion that everything is okay, while their counterparts that they're working with has twice as much as them off of your ancestors' back of free labor for 450 years? If that's what you feel good about, well, so be it. But for those who are looking for that better place, it behooves you to search for new land. I mean, there are people in Africa, because people say, why are people in Africa so great? Why are people leaving from Africa? I ain't say great. There's 54 countries, and there are some countries I would run out away from to myself. There are some African countries I would be out of. Yes. I don't blame Africans for leaving the continent because they're trying to find a better place. At least they got more sense than most Black Americans. They at least know, let me get the hell out of here. That's why Africans go to America, because they think it's better. And guess what? Financially for them it is. But guess what? They're coming back. They're coming back. Watch the video I just put up. Matter of fact, let me do this right here. I just put this up of a sister. Let me see, did they approve for this to be released? Who came back from the UK. She said, I ain't gonna tell you what she said. I'm putting it up right now because they got finished going through their security scrutiny. But what she was saying is so many of the people that I'm meeting, the African diaspora, they coming back. They coming back. They like, yo, go Black, you open my eyes up. I didn't even realize it. Because it's a different world now in a lot of these African countries. I understand that people left 30 years ago. Africa's only had in each country's independence average is 20, 30 years, 30 or 40 years. That you have a people say, you have these people, here you go. All right, you want your freedom? Okay, but before we leave, we're tearing down the factories that we had, and we're going to make you pay for what we built that we leave. No, we're not going to tell you about the sewer system we made and electricity systems that we built, that we had y'all build. We're not going to, no. We're leaving. And then you have people who don't have the knowledge. Because why? Now, Africans, our brothers and sisters are very smart. But when you're introduced to a way of life that you have not been able to have your hands on, and people just say, have at it. That's like me telling my daughter, fix your car. Well, what's going to happen? It's going to become dilapidated, break down, and it's going to sit there. In a lot of these African countries, that's how some of their cities look, have not been refurbished. But Africa has all the money, but they're letting everybody come in, and they can have all their wealth, and they can keep the resources. Is that look? These factories, these plants, a lot of African countries don't even have the know-how, don't have the knowledge. And that's why I speak to every diaspora, which if you watch my video that the sister that I just did, my latest video, she's a diaspora. She's Ghanaian. She said, I got to get out of here, UK. And most diasporas like, I'm going back home. Because they find it out, they've been on that hamster wheel running their ass off. Making the money, but they have no rest, no peace. I had a dude told me the other day, he said, man, all I did was get up in the morning, go to work, get off of work, night, the sun's gone down, come home, eat dinner, might watch something real quick, then I go to bed and I do it over again. And then when I look at what am I doing? I'm for this house in this car, and I'm working myself to, the young lady told me, she said, not this lady, but another sister told me, she said, 20 years of my life I spent over there in Europe. And it seemed like time went like that. And I find myself, for my enjoyment, coming back home once a year for about 30 days. And then it takes me a week to at least gather myself, to prepare myself to go back there to Europe to work. And every time I have to leave, there's something inside of me that dies. Yeah. When you experience Africa and you see, yeah, there's hardworking people out here. There's people who make very little money, but you see the peace. They might have some might have small houses. Some people might save their money and built them a big house. But they made it and they did it. And they worked their tails off. And guess what? They don't have mortgages. They don't live like that. They don't have mortgage. They build a house room by room by room. Or they build it. Once one room is, they got one room in, they gonna move right in there. They're gonna move out in that house. Look, we're gonna do everything as we get the money, we work our tail off. We got a little bit more money, call in the guys to put the electric in, do some more, call the guy in to put the floor in, make them work our ass off and call somebody to put this and do that. This is the African way. Person said, it took me 10 years though, go black, to build my house. It takes 30 freaking years to pay off your house in America with a mortgage, and most people are not going to pay it off. Why? Because we're caught up in the mindset that they said every 7 to 9 years, the average American will buy another house. Why? Because your house is dated, you don't like it, you see new neighborhoods go up and you want to go get one of them. Oh, let's step up our game. Let's get into this new neighborhood. So then you go buy another house, paying more money, and guess what? You just started your mortgage over again for another 30 years and don't even realize that you got a time that's coming that's called old age. You won't be able to do the same work that you're doing today. Then all of a sudden now you find yourself what? Out here, because now the mortgage just goes on. And when you see the little crumbs that you're going to get from Social Security, because the max that you can get in Social Security is $3,200. So that's only $3,600 a year. So if you making annually $880,000 and $100,000, guess what? You're not going to have that. Do you know why? Because elderly people are facing now discrimination for their ages. Company wants young minds. They say let you lose a job after 50 years old. How hard it is to get another job because they're looking for the young minds. This is facts. And you don't even think about it. 1 second. This is my beautiful wife. Babe, I'm doing a live right now. You at the airport?
Okay, bye-bye.
I'll talk with you later. What time y'all catch the flight?
20-some minutes.
Okay.
I'll talk to you later.
All right, love you.
Okay, love you.
Yeah, this is what happens. So you got a lot of things that's against you because now you didn't think about that. Oh my gosh, I got this mortgage. Let me lose my job. Now what you're going to have to do, you're not going to have to go back to school to try to even get, because some of y'all you've been working in your job maybe 5 years, 7 years. They say the average person in a lifetime goes through 7 jobs. This is what they say. This is statistics that I look up. And you playing around not paying your mortgage or having a mortgage, and if you mess around at 50 years old because you inching up there in the mid 40s, and they're like, the young whippersnappers have just got educated with the latest and greatest education that's out here, and you are far behind. You haven't got recertified. You haven't got the new information. We are bringing in a total different game, and you ain't been staying up to par. We're bringing in the young whippersnappers, and guess what? We're not paying them as much as we were paying you. So now you take a pay cut. Now that nice mortgage that you had, guess what? You might have to sell. And you want to sell at a time like this that's going on today, where now the interest rate is at 6%. Just November, it was at 2%. I had to do the calculation on that. A $200,000 house in November last year, if you got it at 2%, it would have been $987, I think it was. Check my math. There's a calculator out there for you. 6%, it goes up to $1,500. You're talking a $500 and something increase off the interest rate of a 6% mortgage. 30 years. That's a $200,000 home. That ain't much of nothing cost for the cost of houses today. This is why I tell everybody, you better start knowing how to save and budget money. You better learn how to start living frugal. Because as the prices of everything goes up, what does that do? Your top dollar or your so-called savings that you got, you begin to eat into it. See, while I have shifting my money, more in my investments into these areas here, my money is the dollar, American dollar is strong in Africa. I told you I could buy 1 meal. The locals out here eat for $1. Now, of course, if I want to eat out here at these restaurants and stuff that the foreigners go to, and some of the expats and stuff like that, yeah, you're gonna spend about $12 for a meal. Still cheaper than $35 in America. And then y'all who love the tax, who fell into that lie of tips, who fell into the lie of tipping people. What's the tip rate now? Now they're squeezing 30% out of you? You mean 30% off of your bill that you're going to have to pay. I had somebody ask me a couple days ago, you don't tip? No, I don't tip. That's a European concept. They should tip. They need to give us back everything that they took from us. Tipping. I'm not paying the employer. That's the game they play. When you understand, why are we paying for their employees? And then the owner gets to walk away with all the money. Why ain't anybody in an uproar over that? They got the tipping concept. Do your history check on tipping. Find out where tipping came from. Well, I want to help our people out there with little extra money. I ain't telling what to do. Be knowledgeable on where it came from. Because when you're going up into your little fancy restaurants and then you tipping them white boys and white girls and all that right there, you done made the owner richer. Because he ain't got to pay his employees. So his employees make their money off of you. That's why you think that the waiters always ask when they say, here, oh, would you like to have some wine with your meal? They come back, what would you like to have some dessert? Would you like to have when you come in, starters? Our starters for the day, our appetizers for the day. They want to try to get that bill as high as possible, because if you are a tipper, they know that then there's a higher tip because you're tipping off the bill. And some of y'all don't even realize that y'all even include the tax in it on the tipping. And then you should even, if you're going to be a tipper, subtract the tax out of the total. So now, because the prices of food went up, $35 the average meal for you going out to one of these franchise restaurants or these elegant restaurants, that's going to cost you $55, $60. Believe me, I was just in America 4 months ago. I told my wife, I said, I can't do this no more. Hey, nah. We gonna cook. I just cannot, I can't sleep comfortably. I order a piece of chicken and some vegetables with a starch for 60 freaking bucks. I can't do it. Can't do it. I'm sorry. I can cook better than this. Me and my wife, ain't gonna do it. See, this is how you save your pennies. When you save your pennies, then that leaves room for you to go ahead and save and get something together. I've done that for many years. I do it in Africa. I told my wife, I said, I find myself now up here looking at, things that what I don't like. For instance, I took a Uber out to a place to meet my brother out there. I paid 24 CDs. That's like $3.60. And so when I had ordered an Uber, I said 24 CDs. God dog. Because my mind is being reverted. As you stay in a country longer, you begin to see that your mind goes into their mindset of like, this is a lot compared to what I can get cheaper. So your mind goes into that, and then you're like, yeah, I could save, some CDs. So when I left my brother coming back here to my place, I said, I'm gonna catch the troll. The trolls are the vans that, the vans with the seats in it and everybody gets in and all right there. That's 4.5 CDs. So I hop onto the troll. And I told my wife, I said, I catch myself all the time when I do that. And I laugh and I'm like, and I'm squeezed up into the troll with all these people, and my head is bouncing and hitting the top of the van. And I told myself, I said, $3.26 that you sit in the front seat of Uber and you chose to save $2 and something cent to be in a van, squished up hot, head bumping on the ceiling. The Ghanaians are small and short, and my knees is up in the back of the seat, all to save $2 and something cents. But you know what? I told my wife this. I did this the other day too. I walked down here to one of the small businesses. They got their little huts or whatever, and I asked the woman for how much is their 18 pack of water, and she said 20 CDs. I said 20 CDs. The woman up here is 18 CDs. I said, I'm going up here to go get my 18 CDs. She started laughing at me. Get my water for 18 CDs. And I'm walking halfway. I walked almost a quarter of a mile, family. And I thought about it. 2 CDs. 2 CDs is 26 cents. And I caught myself. I said, man, you crazy. You gonna walk a quarter of a mile for 26 cents. But you can get caught up. That's how I am. But I'm gonna tell y'all, that's how I was able to build my nest egg. I did that for years. But then I came to Africa. I'm telling y'all, yo, I'll be a cheapskate. Y'all see me with them same. I told my wife, I said, I know my viewers are tired of watching me in them same color shirts. I got the same old shirts on, the gray, the green, the blue, the red, and I just mix them up. Oh my goodness. But you know what though? But I come up in here and buy property cash up here in Africa. Got 3 of them, gonna go down to South Africa, see what they got. Might buy one down there. Why? Because I deprived myself. For many of years. I had bought a BMW in 1988. This is when I used to flash now, and I was broke as a joke. I had my BMW. It was a 1986 BMW 325 ES. Sweet. It was 2 years old. I bought it in 1988. I'll never forget when I took my dad with me. He said, you gonna buy this thing right here? How much this gonna cost you? I said, it's only $18,000 something dollars. This is in 1988, and y'all know an $18,000 car. My car note was $386. That was huge in the late 80s. Huge. That was one of my military checks. But when I woke up about 4 or 5 years later, I stopped doing all that. That BMW I kept until I sold it in 2009. Didn't buy me another car. I said, I deserve to go ahead and get me a brand new car. I had this car all this time, and I deserve to go ahead and get me a brand new car. I bought me a brand new car. I bought me a 2009 Avalon. Brand new Avalon. I got in that car, I drove it around for a few months. What the heck I get myself into a car note for? And this joker's point A to point B. My barbershop was only 2 miles from my house. I sold that car. And a neighbor was selling his used car. He had an I had an A6 Audi. I bought that A6 Audi. We got to wake up and getting ourselves out of the situation that we're in when we're in these countries. And a lot of us are just working, and we're not doing right by the money that we're making. And the only way that we are able to do this is if we wake up and understand, respect yourself enough to respect the money that you made from the energy you had to spend to get it. Getting up every day. I know some of y'all like the nice things. You're trying to show off to the rest of your friends. You got your jewelry, you got your bling bling and your stuff right there, and you barely got a pot to piss in. Some of y'all have got maxed out credit cards, and you're acting as though that you all that in a bag of chips, and then yet you come back home from hanging out with your friends. First thing you doing is calling the credit card company to see how much money you got left on the credit card. We got to stop this. You know how many people I hear this? When I get my money together, I'm gonna come visit Africa. Hope y'all enjoy the show, family. I hope this was very meaningful for each and every one of you all. I thank each and every one of y'all for coming in. Rewind and check out some of the videos that I showed on with our. I'm gonna play that video one more time because I know we got new people in here because it's very impactful. And those who've been sitting around for a while, listen to this and let this go to your heart because this is exactly why our people struggle in America. All because of what they've done and made their wealth off of our ancestors and us. Let me play that one more time. It gets me every time too, family. Every time I watch this, man, this sister, she put her heart in this.
Then people want to talk about, well, there's plenty of people who pulled themselves up out of bootstraps and got it on their own. Why can't they do that? Let me explain to you something about economics in America. We came to do the agricultural work in the South and the textile work in the North. If I right now decided that I wanted to play Monopoly with you, and for 400 rounds of playing Monopoly, I didn't allow you to have any money, I didn't allow you to have anything on the board, I didn't allow for you to have anything. And then we played another 50 rounds of Monopoly, and everything that you gained and you earned while you were playing that round of Monopoly was taken from you. That was Tulsa, that was Rosewood. Those are places where we built Black economic wealth, where we were self-sufficient, where we owned our stores, where we owned our property. And they burned them to the ground. So that's 450 years. So for 400 rounds of Monopoly, you don't get to play at all. Not only do you not get to play, you have to play on the behalf of the person that you're playing against. You have to play and make money and earn wealth for them, and then you have to turn it over to them. So then for 50 years, you finally get a little bit and you're allowed to play. And every time that they don't like the way that you're playing or that you're catching up or that you're doing something to be self-sufficient, they burn your game. They burn your cards. They burn your Monopoly money. And then finally at the release and the onset of that, they allow you to play and they say, okay, now you catch up. Now at this point, the only way you're going to catch up in the game is if the person shares the wealth, correct? But what if every time you share the wealth, then there's psychological warfare against you to say, oh, you're an equal opportunity hire. So if I played 400 rounds of Monopoly with you and I had to play and give you every dime that I made, and then for 50 years, every time that I played, and you didn't like what I did, you got to burn it like they did in Tulsa and like they did in Rosewood. How can you win? How can you win? You can't win. The game is fixed. So when they say, why do you burn down the community? Why do you burn down your own neighborhood? It's not ours. We don't own anything. We don't own anything. You broke the contract when you killed us in the streets and didn't give up. You broke the contract for 400 years. We played your game and built your wealth. You broke the contract when we built our wealth again, our bootstraps in Tulsa, and you dropped bombs on us. When we built it in Rosewood, and you came in and you slaughtered us. You broke the contract. So, the target. You're a Hall of Fame. And they are lucky that what Black people are looking for is equality and not revenge.
Woo! Couldn't said it better myself. Couldn't have. And let me play this video again for y'all to understand too. This was just not in the early 1900s, Rosewood and Black Wall Street. Let me play this one right here before I said I was going to let some people call in too. I'm going to let some people call in. But let me play this right here again so that we can get an understanding. This happened right here, 1985. Play this again for y'all who just came in.
I heard he sold his
hold 1 second. Let me make sure. Hold 1 second. I got to share my screen. Let me share my screen again. Let me share the screen again. Let me show the video again because we got to make sure that this is during your lifetime, many of y'all's lifetime, and some of your parents' lifetime. So this ain't something that just happened back in, that was back in, no, this right here, I was 19 years old.
is something of a forgotten story, 30 years before Black Lives Matter. Story of police violence in the US, confrontation, repression, destruction that got severely out of hand. It culminated on the 13th of May 1985 in Philadelphia when the police dropped explosives from a helicopter at a house in the middle of the city. Those inside were activists in a revolutionary movement called MOVE, which took root in the early 1970s. MOVE, founded by a certain Vincent Leopard, who changed his name to John Africa, the group's followers doing the same, all having the surname Africa. They were, and still are, mostly African Americans at the time, all living under one roof. Now, relations with their neighbours had been very strained, to the point where the police moved in to evict them. An armed standoff and firefight ensued, including the dropping of the explosives onto the house. 11 people inside, including children, killed. The resulting fire destroying more than 60 other surrounding homes. Well, since then, the story has disappeared into the history books. None of those responsible at the time brought to justice. So, more than 30 years later, correspondents have found new witnesses and spoken to those caught up in what happened.
So here we have 1985. Just in 1985. 1985. Let me put the link in the chat. I'm gonna let some people call in, share with me, what's your thoughts of this that I have shared tonight? What is your thoughts on this? The video of the young lady sharing this so-called America's way or system. What about, these struggles we've gone through? The latest one that Black folks try to put together was by the group, in fact, Not Effing Around Coalition, that he's facing 30 or 60 years or something like that for pointing his weapon at a FBI agent that was on the roof when he followed all the guidelines to enter in cities for all of his members to carry weapons. But what do? They dismantled the group. They dismantled the group when it came to civil rights and killed out Martin Luther King, killed out Malcolm X, which they found out that the people who were charged in Malcolm X murder was not the Black guys that actually did it. They were just released here, I think just the latter part of last year or the beginning of this year. Every movement we had, whether it was Marcus Garvey, even in the early 30s, sent him to prison talking about his tax evasion because he had a ship and he was going to try to send Black people back to Africa. Put him in prison. Booted him out the country of America because we was trying to be free. And we see all these things that happen, and you young ones up here, because y'all don't know y'all history and y'all haven't experienced it yet, and you will. Then the question of it is what are you going to do? Is it going to be too late? So the link is in the chat, family. The link is in the chat. I'm gonna take 4 or 5 callers. I need my sisters to call in too as well. What is your thoughts? What's your thoughts on the video? What's your thoughts, on this America system? As the sister, she laid it out there. I'm gonna tell you, I keep getting teary-eyed every time I watch that because it brings back so many memories. It brings back a lot of memories of what I went through. Sometimes I am so shocked at how hard I worked back then. Just trying to at least live a comfortable life. Trying to get my kids into these so-called better private schools. I sacrificed. I've showed y'all the house that I bought because a Black man, a Black woman, me and my ex-wife, we was not on one accord, didn't see eye to eye on anything. We had to sell that house. I'll never forget when I sold the house because I knew what it took. I worked 3 jobs, $170,000 I saved off of working. She didn't put a dime towards it. And that's just being honest, not to throw mud on her. But it came a time that where when we got divorced, she got half of that. You can take the half. That's okay. Because I'm thankful that I found a woman who shares my vision, and I quadrupled more than what I ever had. You see, some people they are, when I was a Christian back then, I worried so much about, well, not supposed to get a divorce, and this old scripture, do I put, let no man put apart what God put together. God didn't put that marriage together. I can guarantee you that right there. That was me and her own selfish ways. Let's let some of these guests in. Yo, we have Yamoja.
Yep.
Yamoja, how are you today?
I'm good. How are
Good.
you?
How are you?
I am doing great. What you
Okay.
got for us this evening?
So I'm a real estate broker on the West Coast and
Oh,
in the South also.
oh, did you hear me? Did you hear me say I was a real estate agent?
No.
Oh yeah, licensed real
Okay.
estate agent. I shared how this real estate game is played and some of the illegal activities that people need to be aware that they might get caught up in. But go ahead.
Yeah. So I want us to start thinking, just outside of the box in that our first property might not be the one we live in. There's several states that have reasonable properties. I can use Louisiana for example. There are condos and some single families that are still 100,000, $80,000.
Mm-hmm,
So with that, you may be able to put down, because you won't be living in it, you may be able to put down between 10 and 20% of that,
mm-hmm,
and get yourself into a position that you have some income that you're generating,
mm-hmm,
that especially if you have an Africa plan. So you
mm-hmm,
may be in another state. So let's take California and let's take Los Angeles, where rents are 3,500 for a 2 bedroom.
mm-hmm.
You may have to be there because you're working, and you're working to stack up money, and then you're going to leave, get a property in another state where there's a large rental pool in terms of more renters than homeowners, and put that, whatever it takes, investment down as an investor, 10%, 20%, and get yourself into a position where you have monthly income that can sustain you as you make your Africa plan. Because in some areas it's just too much to try to buy. You can't get
It is.
anything in Los Angeles for less than 650 to $1 million. So if you're going to be leaving in the next 3 to 5 years, it doesn't make sense to try to even get into anything like that. You know.
Exactly.
Yeah. So don't let the conditions beat you down. Just think of another way around it. There's I know Baltimore. There's some areas in Baltimore. There's Louisiana. Um,
Montgomery, Alabama.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And
Yes.
there's a large kind of tech pool, a military pool there. So you may be able to find those people as renters to
Yeah.
get that steady income. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's just my suggestion. Always look for a way. There's a light. And as the immigrants are coming in from Ukraine or whatever, if your state or city is one of the receiving end, um, rent to them. They're going to have guaranteed rent at least for a year or two that I'm sure the U.S. government is going to back. So find out if your city is on that list, and if you have property already, rent to them. A room, a whole unit, figure it out. But
Yeah.
start stacking that money so you can get out of here. That's my recommendation.
That's some great information. I appreciate it. Please share with the people about redlining and also about some of these appraisers that can lowball black neighborhood homeowners,
Oh yeah.
appraisals and stuff. Share some of that information that you may have.
Yeah. So from a redlining perspective, there's certain areas that they will decide that they don't want to rent in, or I'm sorry, lend in, and they feel like if you come in and you have a packet together, a loan packet, they don't want to so-called outright discriminate against you and say, no, we won't lend there. So what they'll do is they'll just charge higher rates there.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're coming in, decent credit and a stable income, and you're wanting to go in that area, they'll just charge you more or not lend at all. But they're getting to the point where they can't really get away with that. So then your loan rate will be more than, say, a mile or two away, or someone who looks differently from you that comes in to buy it from a commercial perspective. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one angle of discrimination. The other way is steering. So, you may have driven around and found an area that you want to live in. You've researched the schools and you think you want to, put your children there. Well, they'll come in and they'll know the racial composition and the economic composition of the neighborhood before they take you out there. And so they'll try to push you away from it because they know that your presence might anger the people that are already there. So there's a lot of kind of underhanded um, institutional type practices that you don't really see, and it's not written, but it's more in action.
Yeah, and these are supposed to be illegal things also that's supposed to be against the law. People doing these type of things. So
Yeah, yeah,
the average
absolutely.
buyer or seller is not going to know that. That's why. What about share with the sellers as far as appraisals? There are those that they found that will lowball the sellers' homes if they are in black areas or what have you.
Oh yeah. So what you have to do about they're supposed to do like a 3 mile max radius to pull up comps when they're
Yep.
getting their appraisals and you're looking to sell your home or just refinancing, you're trying to get that highest value. Um, they'll come in and lowball you, especially if they've seen you. um with COVID, we've been able to benefit a bit from drive-by appraisals, but they're going back on the inside, where they'll come in and they'll look at the property and they'll see your pictures up and they'll see who you are, and they will rate your property at a lower level because you're black. And I believe
Yep.
there was a story recently, a couple of months ago, where this family switched out the pictures and had someone else, had a white family, represent them, and the value of the home miraculously was higher once someone else was there that wasn't black.
Yeah.
So you have to be on top of things yourself. There's so much information out there now with realtor.com being online, and Zillow and Redfin. So you have to get out there and utilize that information and question things. If
Yeah.
you get an appraisal, question it and let them in also. Because I've had a property where the appraiser actually called me and was like, "Oh, you're at home." I'm like, "Yeah, come on in." So he was able to see that I had done the floors, that I had put some granite in, and that raised the value up. Had he not been able to reach me, he was just going to do a drive-by, look at the exterior of the building, and then make his assessment based on everything else that had sold around the community. So make yourself available, hold your agent to a high standard, read up on things yourself, and ask those questions, because this is your economic backing that you're looking to sustain. So you want to have the highest and best value at all times. Yeah.
Thank you, my sister. I appreciate that. Some wealth of information, and you all pay attention because the playing field is not fair. And
Nope.
get you a black realtor. I'm telling you,
Please.
get a black realtor.
Right.
Or I
We're
say
out here.
realtor. My wife would say, stop saying that realtor. Say realtor.
Yeah, we're out here, knowledgeable, and we work together.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, sister. Thank you
Thank
very much.
you. Uh-huh.
All right. Don P. Ben Yahuda. Let me take you off. I think I might got you on mute. Okay. Don P. Take yourself off mute. Are you there? Let's go to Legs TV. What's good with you?
What's going on, man? What's going on? How's it going?
Not much, not much. Man, it's all well.
Go Black. My name is Jube Tamora. I've been wanting to tell you for years that you are absolutely right. Where I come from Japan. Let me see if I can show you right quick. If I can start the camera right there. I don't know if you can see it. I can't take my computer off.
Okay.
But my Uncle Sam there fought in World War II. This up here is his grandma with the long hair. And this is his mother. I was blessed to meet his grandmother.
Mm-hmm.
They fought on both sides. There were black people always in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
I'm one of them. I'm part of a tribe that used to be called the Anu.
The Anu.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
culture is what they try to destroy. I have his hat. I have a lot of trinkets from my Uncle Sam. My great grandmother died at 108 years old in 1997. I was 13. She told
Yeah.
me Europeans do anything they can to come over there and destroy your culture. Life started in Africa. I was supposed to never forget that, but also remember my culture and where I came from. I've been in real estate for 6 years. What the young lady said was what I was going to jump in and say. She said everything I was going to say, basically. But I've been helping people like me for many years. Right now, I'm trying to get citizenship in Ghana because of my aunt. So I just came on here to tell you, you're absolutely right, man, and I'm with you. And I just wanted you to see. I sent you an email years ago. I mean, not years ago, a couple of months back, showing you pictures like this. If you want me to resend them,
resend them for me. Yeah, because I tell people 99.9% of my emails I read, but there's always those that get caught up in the mix, and and I keep my folders empty, so it could have got caught up in the mix. I travel a lot, so yeah, resend them. I would love to see it.
Yeah, I got some of his medals. I got the hat.
What's the name of the tribe again there in Japan? You said
know A-I-N.
I
mean AINU.
AINU.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, put that in the email when you send it, okay?
Okay.
Appreciate that information, brother.
All right, for sure, man.
All right. Revolutionary 2.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. I was trying to put my picture back up, but
oops. What happened? He'll call back in. Yeah, I mean, family, there's a time for us to really let me see. I think I got Don P coming in. All right, Don P, you got yourself on mute? Okay, you're off mute. What's good?
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I don't know what just happened. I think it was Yard Stream because I was on another Yard Stream live and that crashed too.
Okay. All right.
So I think it was Yard Stream. But for me, man, I know what time it is. And it is time for me to go. Like I said in the chat, I'm gonna buy my first house in the Gambia and then the second one in Ghana. I've already been looking at videos, looking at architects and stuff like that, just trying to put my plan together with inside the budget that I have, and also planning, okay, what revenue generating activity am I going to do there? Well, I was forced to be an entrepreneur here, so what I do has global application. So it's just try to make reconnections. I have to make some reconnections because it is a product-based business, one of them anyway. So I'd have to make different connections to have stuff coming from, but it might open up a world of opportunity for me to be a countrywide master distributor or something. So we'll see. We'll see with that.
Yeah.
But
you
also
got contacts in Gambia?
Come again?
You got contacts in Gambia?
Yeah, I got one a developer and a real estate company that I'm working with, and then a group of us are looking at trying to put it this way, put together a compound on property that they already have set, aside. And it's really cool. The place that they're building, it's only going to be us. So we're going to get enough space to make our compound, but throughout the whole property, the whole large property is only going to be us. No, none of them. And the cool thing is buying now. See, I'm going to buy my land. Buying now. What's going to happen is the property values are going to be going up quickly because it's either 3 miles or 30 minutes. And I think it's only 3 miles from Taft City. So that's really going to provide a lot of value. And I'm a very sustainable person. One of my businesses is sustainability, and so I'm really going to be sustainable in this building process.
Okay.
And
Okay.
I'm kind of a minimalist too.
Okay.
So it's going to make the project very affordable within my reach. Because other than
You
that,
see,
this would just be a dream.
it's a group of you all that will be having this project going.
Well, actually, the developer, they already have the project going. In so much as
What type of
they've
project
done
is
the infrastructure. They just okay. So they have a travel service too. One of our folks, this couple, they went and they were their travel agent, and they just talked about how good care they took of them. And so now they're involved with the developers. So not only they have their travel agency, but now they're with the real estate developers.
This is African Americans?
Yeah. They've been in Gambia for a while. Went over there, man, with no money.
Okay.
But
Who are they?
check out Mama Land Properties.
Who?
Mama Land.
Mama Land Properties.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's for the people to know, y'all. Check out Mama Land Properties.
Yep.
But,
And so it's I'm watching. Come on, man. These people play 9-level chess, and I don't want to get caught on one of their levels. I know you heard about the shooting today.
no.
Oh, mass shooting in what's it, Rich Hill or something like that, Ridgeland or something like that, Highland or something like that. 6 people dead, several injured at a 4th of July parade.
Oh yeah, it's gonna pop off because it ain't even nighttime almost there yet. So I mean, tonight's firecrackers, you ain't gonna be able to distinguish gunshot from anything. And these people gonna be in crowds, and you're gonna have some crazies out there take advantage of that one.
I stay away from large crowds nowadays. Since the Most High told me to leave, the first time he told me to come out of her, he was talking about the church and this worldly system here. Then the next time he told me, when I was thinking about buying property down south, I was thinking about buying property and I was making preparations. I was going to talk to my people down there. Where y'all at? And what y'all doing? And, because how can I click in? Because it's just me. And so, man, just maybe a couple months ago, the Most High said, come out of her. Come out of Babylon and be not a partaker of her plagues. And so, man, then all this information starts coming up about Africa and the real estate. And blah, 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 blah. I found you a few months back, and I was like, okay, let me see what's really going on in Africa. And you have really opened my eyes and my creative thoughts about what I can really do in Africa and seeing it in a different way, because we've been lied to so much, that we wouldn't want to go there, and that's because they wanted to keep their slaves here. So anyway, I'm gonna get off the floor, but I am gonna touch base with you because I do want to talk about Ghana. I told you that before too.
Yeah, and I'll give you another contact there in Gambia, because I'm telling you, man, you gotta be careful with this property, man. There's scams all over the place. And I did a video last night. So the shame part about it is you got some African Americans and those from the UK that's in on it too. So you got to be very careful when you're talking about property, and you got to do the thing right, But
right.
Yeah. So anyway, okay, man, I appreciate it.
I appreciate you, brother, and definitely I'm gonna be definitely want that contact. So because I'm talking about trying to make moves before the end of the year, being set to go end of the year.
All right, go hit me. Go back to Africa@gmail.com.
All right, man.
All right, then. Peace out. Yeah, I mean, I cringe when I hear people say they want to buy property. They want to buy the land. I'm like, hold my breath. The property I buy, family, I buy apartments. I buy townhomes or something that's within a project that is, and it's just investment. It's not places that I will per se be living in. I stay in this. I just bought this apartment right here, brand new, all that. But when you buying land, I just heard too many horror stories, and I just heard a horror story here, because even get their own locals get scammed. This woman built a house. She's over in the UK. She's Ghanaian, and built a house, and somebody showed up stating that it was their property. It's held up in court, and the saying here is that whoever has the oldest date on a piece of paper, they're the actual original owners. Now, the sad part is that because some of these countries who got land commissions that don't have computers, who have stuff in files and records that you got to depend on somebody to put it in a file and that it stays there, or somebody doesn't come along and pay them to remove that and put your paper in the way. This woman, they might have to tear down that house she built and give that land back. These are the stories that I hear, and people share with me, and I don't see no reason for them to sit there and tell a lie, especially when there's their own money involved. It's hard for people to admit they got scammed, and so many people got scammed that they're ashamed to say anything because they don't want to look like they, like a fool or anything like that. But for me, I stay within where there are projects, the companies have proven records, or have a have something to validate who they are. And because even then they say you got to be careful, especially over here in Ghana, that you got these developers who come up, they'll pop up a sign on the highway, they'll rent a billboard sign, put their things up, knowing they ain't even got the capital to even start the project, start gathering money up from people who are expecting that they're going to have this project go on, never hear from the developer ever gone. And they say that happens. I'm like, see, nah. It's got to be projects going up. I got to do my homework. I got to look into it. I'm going to talk to some people. I do my research, because I'm telling y'all, it's some countries, not all countries, some countries got it together. But there are some that are still trying to get it together when it comes to this property, because when we're moving in, like Gambia is a risk. And I'm gonna tell you too, this come to mind right here, and not to slam Gambia, but I've heard the stories of the, land scams. And what was I gonna say? There are those, man, who just get taken advantage of. And it's sad to say, there are some that are like our own. Because the fact that some people are trying to have money in their pocket so they can stay and not have to come back, or they've expended their money, whatever. So, they get part of some other bozo out here who they haven't checked out, haven't validated paperwork, haven't done all this, and then all of a sudden you go buying land that you ain't never go look at, didn't even go down to the land commissions to make sure that this is up and up, making sure those them taxes are paid up. Which I heard that there was some land sold there that the person who sold the land did not pay the taxes. So now everybody who bought plots there sitting around waiting to see for their paperwork, but taxes got to be paid. Person ain't got the money for the taxes. So now what do? You sit and wait. And they said, you can build if you want to, but if they ain't paid, they can come back and take. So now it's a waste of even more money. It's the facts. I'm going to tell you like it is. See, most people ain't going to come out there and tell you this information on their channel. They're just not going to tell you. I'm going to tell you. Now, I ain't going to bring up names and try to blast people on all that right there, because I'm going to leave that up for you to do your homework, because there's things that I'm told all the time, but I can't validate. I mean, I get emails all the time, people who's bought property or, and they were scammed out of this. Can you do a video of this? No, because I am not going to go off of what you just tell me. And that's a lot of homework for me to go research. I just can't do that. But I'm telling you, with some things I've heard, that you got to do your homework. And we as a people are lazy when other people do our work. And like I said before, when you get scammed, you really, majority of the time, scammed yourself. You was looking for something for nothing. And you were relying on somebody to do your legwork, your research. And all thing they was doing is trying to get your money. So, it is what it is, but that's how it is. So I thought my man was going to call back to come back in. I guess not, but family, let's stay right on this. I'm going to end with this right here and where I started off from. The sister dropping some knowledge on where we are today. You got to really look at, what is good for you. Some people are okay where they are, and some people have an inner voice sharing with them. Like a brother said, it's time for you to start to look at some other places, because only the Most High knows where you stand, and only the Most High, if you serve in the Most High. Some people just, hey, and I'm thankful that I can hear to where I got a spiritual discernment that I haven't got caught up in any scams that were major. I've been scammed before, but there again too, there wasn't major, but that there are some that just, know that they're looking for something better. And I know that the younger ones out here, they're waking up, and they're realizing, when they realize, like that sister say, when they realize that the playing field ain't fair, they coming for revenge. And that's what the white folks need to be in the corner of black folks screaming reparations. Because every time that white society ignores black folks' issues, it always comes over into their communities. We screamed about the guns control, guns in our neighborhoods back in the 80s. What happened? What we're looking at now, major mass shootings going up in these white schools, killing up their children. They didn't do anything. They ignored it. When we screamed about crack cocaine and the drugs that was in our community, they didn't do anything for it. They said, oh, that's a black problem. What's now devastating their community? Prescription drugs, killing them. Heroin, killing them. Overdose, fentanyls, killing them. Now they call it an epidemic. They never called it that when it was our neighborhoods. And white folks need to understand that. We better go ahead and take care of the people who actually we got our wealth from. Because if we don't, the table's going to turn on us. And if you don't notice it now, you're blind as a bat. You see how many, they ain't going to, news won't tell you. You got to find sometimes this stuff right here, that black on white crime has increased. Talk to the people in Chicago. Talk to people in New York. Talk to the people in LA. That the crimes on blacks on whites has increased. What does that mean? That means now blacks aren't fearing whites and the repercussions if they get caught. Where they would see that black folks would get higher jail time, prison sentences if you mess with white folks, because that's what they did. These brothers don't care. People at an edge now. And when they come for revenge, especially when people don't care for their life, they coming after you. They go in your neighborhoods. They go in your stores, and they do these, y'all see it up there. They come in your neighborhoods, go in your malls, go in your stores. Now where you going to go, white folks? Where are you going to go? You're going to build a wall around your whole neighborhood? Some of them, you got private areas and all that. People jump fences every day. People don't care. Carjackings, they'll get you. Go out to your fancy restaurants, they'll get you. You can run, you can't hide. And this is what white society needs to understand, that once they go ahead and repent of their sins, their ancestors' sins, then and only then, America will rise to the occasion. Until then, it's cursed. You got the spirit you got the spirit rising up now of payback. Most definitely. With that, family, I'm out. I tell you, good night, good evening, good morning to each and every one of you all who are who's come in, listen to the channel. I appreciate each and every one of you all. Just another voice in the wind, spreading the message, trying to go ahead and benefit people who are at a low place spiritually. Rise up, brother, sister. You are God's. For those right there who don't know that, it's in the scriptures, the scrolls, it's in the ancient writings. You are God's that came out of the Most High. You can overcome anything. We've been showing that. They've been trying to get rid of us and do harm to us and down us and bring all these different diseases and drugs and guns, and we still surviving. Can you imagine if we became obedient people, loving, upright, standing people? We would be a power to be reckoned with. To the people out there who's put in the chat great words and prayers and those kind words of uplifting, those who are appreciative and thankful for the things I've done. I thank you all too. And those who have a heart to even try to give financially, thank you to you too. It's because of you that I've been set on this mission, that I believe that the Most High put me on to send a message to a people that this lie that you live in, damn Erica, put the D in front of America, capitalize the E, that it is the whore of all whores, and our people have fallen into the mindsets, the mentalities of the Europeans who are there, their ways of life. Our children are gender bending, our men and women are turning gay, our men and women just have a distaste for one another, and our divorces are crazy. We have lost hope. We're turning to drugs. We've turned to the alcohols. We're now getting into places of destruction where we're killing our own wives, wives killing husbands, mothers killing sons and daughters, fathers killing sons and daughters, and sons and daughters killing parents. This is where we are today. And you think America is okay? How about come over to a different country that at least got some morals in some countries? I ain't even say it's got to be Africa. And for those who wants to celebrate your 4th of July, just always remember your ancestors was in shackles in slavery while they're celebrating Independence Day. We were in shackles. With that, family, this is your man, not your boy. Go Black to Africa. Peace and blessings to each and every one of y'all.